Hey there everyone, welcome back to another You Chef weekly video. And spring is here and we're loving it. So in this menu, it's all over it. On the starter, we have a rabbit dish with a lovely wild garlic pesto. On the main course, trout with some spring vegetables. And on desserts, we're featuring forced Yorkshire rhubarb. So unpack your box, grab a drink, lay the table, and let's get cooking. This week's weekly bake, we have a white onion and thyme focaccia with a smoked bacon butter. So we're going to let the butter come up to room temperature like we normally do, and we're going to put this in the oven for 8 to 10 minutes, and I'll be back to show you what to do next. So the bread's been in the oven now for about 8 to 10 minutes, so we're just going to unwrap it from its You Chef paper. Just going to get onto our chopping board, and then we're just going to cut this into 4 slices. And as you unwrap it, you can smell those sweet onions and the thyme coming from it as well. Just get my timer. And we're going to put this into our serving bowl with the pearl barley on. And then we're going to serve this at the table with the smoked bacon butter. And this is your bread course. For your fish starter, we have a linguini of cuttlefish ink and fresh Cornish crab. So we've got the linguini itself, which comes with some butter in there, everything you need. The Cornish crab, some chilli and parsley, and the Amalfi lemon. So I'm just going to get the linguini and put that into our pan. And we're going to add, per portion of pasta, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of water. So just going to add that now. And then we're going to put the lemon in the oven for about 2 to 3 minutes, just to warm it up. And while that's doing it, we're going to heat up our pasta. So I'll be back in 2 to 3 minutes to show you how to plate it up. I've just grabbed the lemon out of the oven, and the cuttlefish, the butter and the water has now made an emulsion around the pasta. So just before we serve it up, we're going to get our chilli and parsley. We're just going to throw that in there like that, get rid of the container, and we're just going to give it a mix around like so. Then we're going to get on to plating it up. So just with our tweezers, we're going to grab some of the pasta out, and when we're putting this on the plate, we want to try and spread it out nice and evenly, just so then we can arrange the rest of the garnish all around the actual pasta. So as we're laying it down, just sort of going round in a circle like so, bringing it around, and finally just folding that bit over like that. Just going to wash my hands quickly. And to finish placing up, we're going to get the crab. I'm just going to sprinkle that over the top as well. Again, we're spreading it out so then in each bite you can get a bit of the crab, a bit of the pasta, a bit of the parsley as well. Just keep going around like so. And then once we've got the crab on here, just going to go back to our pasta pan. I'm just going to get some of that chilli. So that just gives it a nice little kick and also just helps with the colour as well. We're just going to spread that out across the dish. Few more on there. And then we're just going to grab our charred lemon, which has just been warmed through the oven. Just put that to the side, and we're going to squeeze that at the table. And then here we have our cuttlefish and crab linguini with charred Amalfi lemon. For your meat starter, we have a lovely little rabbit dish for you. So we have the rabbit in here, so it's with rabbit loin, some rabbit offal and some black pudding. Some crispy shoulder, it's just been confit, then deep fried with some corn flour. There's charred grilled bruschetta, a pommery mustard dressing, and finally a wild garlic pesto. So to start with, we're going to put the offal and the bruschetta into the oven for 8 minutes, and we're going to add the rabbit when there's 2 minutes remaining, the confit rabbit that is. So I'll be back in that time to show you how to plate up. So to plate up the rabbit, we're going to take the bruschetta out of its paper. I'm just going to put it on the top there. So I'm going to build this off the plate so then I can move it over without spilling anything onto my serving plate. So to start with, I'm going to get a little bit of the wild garlic pesto, and as a little top tip, I'm just going to put a little bit on the bottom of the plate to hold the bread in place. And we're going to get another spoonful, just put it on one side of the bruschetta, and then with a small pan knife, we're just going to spread it across, covering the base of the actual bruschetta itself. If you need to grab a bit more, just to get a little bit. Then once we've done that, we're going to get our rabbit offal. It's just been cooking for about 8 minutes in the oven. Before we put it on, I'm just going to again get a bit of rapeseed oil over the top, and then just a real touch of Maldon salt just to help season it up. So we're going to start by arranging it. So we've got some of the rabbit loin there, a little bit of kidney, liver, then some black pudding, and then there's the kidney there. Just going to arrange it around nicely. Again, we're spreading it out, so with each mouthful you can get a bit of loin, a bit of back pudding, a little bit of the liver as well. So once we've done that like that, we're going to get our crispy rabbit shoulders. Like I said before, this has just been confit overnight. Then we just dust in a little bit of corn flour and then deep fry it in a hot fryer, and then that just crisps it up, almost like your crispy beef from the Chinese. This is our take with some rabbit. So we'll put it on there, get a bit more, and that's going to be the final bits. And then we're just going to transfer that across to our serving plate, put that in the centre. We're going to finish it off with the pommery mustard dressing. So you're going to pour a little bits over, and then just a tiny bit around the plate. And then there we have our bruschetta of rabbit, wild garlic and black pudding. For the vegetarian starter, we see the return of the asparagus tree with a crispy truffle egg, truffle dressing and an asparagus mayonnaise. So to start with, we're going to put the egg in the oven for 6 to 8 minutes. However, if you want that yolk well done, put it in for about 10 to 12. So we're going to start with putting this in the oven, and I'll show you how to plate it up. So the egg's just been in the oven for the 6 to 8 minutes. Now I'm just going to take it out and let it cool down slightly here. So to get plated, I'm going to get my rapeseed oil. I'm going to put a little drizzle over the top of the asparagus tree, and add a touch of molten salt on the top. I'm just going to rub that in like so. And I'm just going to quickly go and wash my hands. And then around the tree is some cling film. So we're just going to remove that before we serve. Let's just take it off like that. We're going to get our fish slice and delicately go underneath. Couldn't get my words out there. We're going to place the tree just to one side. We're going to put it there like that. We're going to get rid of that there. We're going to get our asparagus mayonnaise. We're just going to take the end off. We're going to pipe a nice pile of it just to one side of the tree. So we're going to try and get as much height as we can with this, like so. We can keep any back for later. Then with the egg, we're just going to take a little serrated edge knife like we do, and we're going to make a little V incision, almost like a little V in the top of the egg. You see the egg already, the yolk is bursting out there. And we're going to take that V and we're just going to put it around here. We're going to season both of those up with some Maldon. And then they're both going to go onto our plate. So the first one's just going to sit here next to the mayonnaise. And then that other little bit is going to sit on the tree over here. And then to finish it off, we've got a truffle dressing. I'm just going to pour that around. And then here we have the asparagus tree with the crispy egg and the asparagus mayonnaise. For your fish main course, we have a fillet of Chalkstream trout just in some oil here for you. We have a bit of basil pesto, some spring vegetables and some crispy trout skin to go with it. So to start with, I'm going to get the trout. Just got my pan of boiling water here, so I'm just going to drop that in there and turn that off, and we're going to give that 8 minutes. While that's cooking, we're going to put this in the oven with the lid loosely on it for 8 minutes as well. Then we're going to come back and we're going to show you how to emulsify the basil pesto into the fish stock and plate it up for you. So we'll be back in 8 minutes. So the fish stock's just come up to the boil now, so I'm just going to bring it over so I can show you what to do next. So it's just come to the boil. I'm just going to take the end of my basil pesto, squeeze that in. I'm going to grab my whisk, which is just over here. I'm going to bring that together and emulsify it. And once that's all emulsified, I'm going to get my spring vegetables that have been in the oven for 8 minutes and put them in there. And I'm just going to leave that now to one side there while we finish plating up. So I'll get rid of the whisk. So the trout, I've just opened the bag slightly and we're just going to empty it into the container. Just very carefully get it out of the bag that it's in. I just need to get the scissors to open it up a little bit more. So that's just now been confit in that oil. We've got some fresh dill on there as well. And that's just really delicate. So we're just going to leave that there for 1 second while we plate up. Get a nice big spoon and into the middle of this serving plate, I'm going to start arranging those vegetables. So in there we've got some asparagus spheres, some garden peas, some broad beans and some fine beans. Then we've got the basil pesto as well. So one last bit of veg there, then a touch more sauce. just get that to cover the whole of the bowl like so. Just going to put that behind us. Then we're going to really carefully with the fish slice, we're going to get underneath this piece of Chalkstream trout. We're just going to place that in the centre. And what we've done is we've taken the skin off and we've just deep fried it, and it's sort of slightly puffed so you get some nice bit of crackle. Just before I put that on, I'm just going to add a touch of Maldon salt over the fish. We'll finish it off with the skin. And like the recipe book says, a top tip can be if you get a little bit of rapeseed oil, and you can just put these little droplets in around the pesto just to add a nice colour, and also it's a nice flavour, this Isle of Wight. And then this is the fish main course of the Confit trout with basil pesto. For your meat main course, we have a chicken dish here. So we have the chicken Jamboneau. So that's that there with the Tarragon mousse inside. We have some grilled baby gem lettuce, chicken fat potato, absolutely delicious, a Tarragon creamy sauce and some Tarragon oil. So to start with, we're going to put the chicken in the oven for 10 to 14 minutes. And then we're going to put the lettuce in for 8 to 10 with the lid loosely retained, and the chicken fat potato in the oven for 8 to 10 minutes with the lid loosely retained. So we'll start by putting the chicken in, and I'll be back to plate this one up. So to plate up the chicken main course, everything's come out the oven now. So we're going to start by getting the chicken. Just going to add a touch of Maldon salt over the top of the skin, just for a presentation and a bit of taste. Just carefully lift that up. So with this chicken, what we've done is we've deboned it, we've rolled it and stuffed it with a nice Tarragon mousse. We're going to use our goods under to get our chicken fat potato. I'm just going to put that again to one side next to the actual chicken itself. Get the baby gem lettuce. Again to the other side of the chicken, going to fill in that gap we've got left over there. We're going to get our Tarragon sauce. So we've got reduced cream in here, reduced chicken and veal stock. And we're going to cover some over there like that. And we've got some fresh Tarragon running through there as well. And then to finish it off, we're going to split it out with a little bit of Tarragon oil. So we get that. Drip it in and around. And then this is the main course for you of the Jamboneau of chicken leg stuffed with a Tarragon mousse, a Tarragon oil and a Tarragon cream sauce. For the vegetarian main course, we have a Fritto Misto of spring vegetables. So in here we've got our spring vegetables with some Amalfi lemon and sage. We've got a butternut squash puree, pine nut, sage and lemon dressing, and a wedge of Amalfi lemon as well. So to start with, I've lined my vegetable out on the tray. We're going to put it in the oven for 8 to 10 minutes, and I'll be back to show you how to plate this one up. So to plate up the vegetarian main course, we've got the butternut squash puree that's just been heated up. So to start with, we're going to get a nice big spoonful of it and put that right in the centre of the plate, like so. And then to spread it out, you can either use the back of a spoon and go around in a circle like that, or what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a ladle that I've got over here. I'm just going to use that. I just want to try and work it and get it as wide as I possibly can so we can see it underneath all this lovely spring vegetable. So once we've got it around like so, get rid of the ladle quickly. We'll start going on with our veg. So we've got some asparagus in here, we've got some fine beans, and with this, where you've got quite a lot, you can really build it up to get some nice height. So we're just going on there now. So we've got the fine beans going on there, a bit more asparagus in a second. We've got some lovely tender stem broccoli as well. This has all just been coated in a nice light batter. It's all been seasoned as well, so don't add any extra seasoning to this because we've done that for you for this one. Keep all going there. Then we've got one of the big charred leaves, which we'll add over there. Just going to spin the plate round, and we're going to go on with these Amalfi lemons, which we can put in and around. So there's not much to this one, but it's got a load of flavour in here. Get that sage, just break up there. Then we can keep those bits back for any chef snacks for the rest of the dish well. And then this here, finally I'm just adding, is a little bit of the charred stalk. So we try not to throw anything away. So it's just been blanched, so it's just been tempura as well. And it's got a lovely chardy, earthy flavour. So just move the tray out of the way. I'm going to put the lemon on one side, and we're going to finish it off finally with this dressing. So in the dressing we've got some roasted pine nuts in there, we've got some lemon juice, some chopped sage, a little bit of sherry vinegar, and that's just going to go all the way around to coat the vegetables. And there we have the vegetarian main course of the Fritto Misto of spring vegetables and butternut squash puree. For this dessert, you have our take on an Espresso Martini. So we have a coffee and caramel tart, a Kahlua gel, mascarpone cream, and a coffee meringue. So on the tart, I've already piped a few dots of the Kahlua gel. And what we're going to do is just going to put a little bit more on the base, and that's what the tart's going to sit on to stop it moving. So you see, like I said, the dots are already done on the tart there. So I'm going to get 2 spoons, just put them in hot water. I'm going to get the mascarpone cream. I'm just going to give it a little quenelle before it goes onto the plate. So just do it a few times, just to get a shape of the spoon. And we're going to put that in the gap that I've left there. And we're going to finish it off by we're going to get that meringue with the coffee on there. I'm going to place it round like so, almost covering it up so it's a nice little treat when they get it at the table. We're going to move that onto our serving dish. And there we have it, a super simple Espresso Martini tart. So we've had this one on before. It's the stem ginger and rhubarb Pavlova. This time we've got a yogurt mousse with it. So in here we've got our Pavlova shell itself, which has just been hollowed from underneath, our poached Yorkshire rhubarb carpaccio, the yogurt mousse, and the poached rhubarb pieces. So to start, we're going to fill our shell. So you can either turn it upside down into the biocane like so, like this, or if you've got a teacup handy, feel free to use that as well. So we're just going to take the end of our piping bag of yogurt mousse, and we're going to fill this one right up. And we're just going to leave, once it's filled, we're just going to leave it there for a second. So we're going to get our carpaccio. Again, first of all, we're going to flip it over, and we're going to remove the back there. And when we put it on, we're going to flip it back, because that's the presentation side. That's the side we want facing upwards to the guest. So we're just going to put it just off centre, and we're going to slowly peel back that UV chef paper, like so. And we're going to get our meringue, and then we're going to put it over to one side like that. And finally here, I've just taken the rhubarb out of its pouch. We're going to arrange it along to one side. So on there we've got some lemon thyme, and we've got a nice light sugar syrup and the stem ginger in there. Flavours that all work really well together. Just put that last one here, and go on with the stem ginger, like so. Okay. Final bit going on here. And then if you wish, you just get a spoon, pick up some of that lovely pink syrup from the Yorkshire rhubarb itself, just drop it in and around the plate. And there we have it. This one's ready to serve. So we've got the forced Yorkshire rhubarb and yogurt mousse Pavlova.